Hi everyone, it's that Pete guy here doing a video on this, the Novation Circuit. Just move that mouse out of the way so it looks all clean and professional and that. As you can see, I'm doing it in the dark with this little special light here. Makes it look a bit Blair Witch, which is not really got any relevance other than the fact that using the Novation Circuit relies on colours, and in full daylight it is hard for this camera, which as you will notice is not very good, to pick up the intricacies of the different colours. And I thought, actually, for anyone out there who's thinking of buying one of these or already has one and is kind of looking to see what other people are doing with them, the colours is quite important, because then you know what is actually happening. This isn't a tutorial. I'm not going to tell you how to use it. This isn't a review. I'm not rating it. I am purely talking about it from an artist perspective. I'm a musician. I've been making music for about 15 years, but a hobbyist musician. I have mainly used digital audio workstations, or DAWs, or I think some people have pronounced them as DAWs. I choose DAW. But the thing I find about these DAWs is that sometimes they can be, wait for it, daunting. Oh dear. And what I mean by that is you have thousands of options, not just in regards to the DAWs of Ableton and Logic and Pro Tools and Reason and Fruity Loops and all of that, FL Studio. What I mean is when you have one of these DAWs, the amount of channels you can have, the amount of synthesizers you can have, even just with the basics, the amount of intricacy you can get into is so huge that it can be scary and it can put you off. And my experience is, quite often I've fallen into a trap of, I'm going to play around with all these presets until I've got enough presets doing enough cool things that I have a finished track. And there is an artistry to that does exist as a genuine way of making music, and I have done with a lot of stuff. But what I really wanted to do was find something that gave me more restrictions, so I didn't end up open up an Ableton project with just nothing on it and an infinite amount of possibilities. That blank page aspect is daunting. It bridges the gap between an instrument and a toy, and in the way that it looks, and also in the way that you end up playing it. I've seen lots of videos of kind of unboxing and that kind of thing, where people just out of the box start fiddling around and they make something that is kind of cool and fun enough for them to feel that they are playing it. And I think that's what's interesting. You use the term playing an instrument, but actually a lot of the time it's hard work. This gives you that sensation of play, and it makes music fun. Another big draw to it for me is its portability. It does have a built-in speaker. I don't really use that because you can't feel how strong the bass within the synthesizer that's built into this is without a pair of headphones on or plugging it into an amp and some speakers. But the portability is great. I work from home. I know a lot of people are working from home at the moment due to what's going on globally. And when you sit at this desk for 9 hours a day, once it gets to the point that you've finished your work, the appeal of sitting here for another 3 or 4 hours to work on music at the same desk in the same surroundings, it can make music feel like work, and it shouldn't. It should be play, for me anyway. Everyone has their different motivations for making music. If you've heard any of my music, some of it's on Spotify and on YouTube and etc., you'll probably gather that I'm mainly doing it for the play. I wanted to start a synthwave project. I've been trying to make synthwave for a while, and found with DAWs it's very reliant on making sure you've got the right plugins and the right samples. That being said, these aren't the stock sounds in the Novation Circuit. I have downloaded a pack called the Delorean Dream pack, I think it's called. I'll put a link. And that includes some samples for the drums, because the 4 drum tracks are all based around sampling, and then patches for the inbuilt synth for the 2 synth channels that you have. But the thing I found that has changed my approach from using Ableton and a digital workstation is that yes, I've downloaded patches for this, but I have not left them as they are. Having these tactile knobs that you can change to manipulate the sound means that that's what I've done. I don't think there's anything that I've made on this so far where I haven't actually made the sound my own and changed it somewhat using these knobs, and obviously you can still add effects, etc. And that, I think, is something that's brilliant about it, something I've really appreciated, and it has, changed the way that I'm making music at the moment, and I'm thankful for that. I'm really happy with the machine, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to play you the first thing that I wrote since getting it. I have written other things after that, but the first thing I wrote, rather than get out of the box and just try and see what it's all about, I actually tried to make a piece of music that I would then go on and use. I haven't finished the song yet in regards to lyrics and whether I'll add anything extra on another synth or not, but I have essentially finished the structure, and the way I've done that is over 4 sections. But I will talk as we go through the song, because there's no lyrics on the song anyway. You'll get to hear it. So I'm going to start. This is the kind of intro going into the first verse. So what I've done is I've broken the song down into 4 parts. The main verse, which is this bit, the chorus, and then 2 different sections for the breakdown. So the other main reason I bought this is because I don't want to turn up to a gig with a laptop. I want to do my Synthwave stuff live, and let me just change the chorus. I wanted to be able to bridge the gap between pressing play on an MP3 or a CD, or show my age there, or on a phone, and actually playing something in live as I would using Ableton. But I don't want to take my laptop. My laptop's got my whole entire music library history on it. It's my whole studio. I'm worried someone might drop a pint on it or whatever. And I wanted something that I can take that will be my backing for my gigs. So, verse. So that's what I've done with this, and it's simple for me to just change between sections. It's not too demanding. I would still be able to do perform anything that I write for this, be it singing, be it using my guitar or another synth, and would make for a bit more interesting than just sitting and pressing play. So that was the reasoning behind buying it. And separating the songs into sections of 4, I can basically get 8 songs on here, which is an EP essentially. So that's my kind of medium short term goal, is to do a Synthwave EP using this machine. You'll notice I'm not really tweaking with the sound much. Some of the really good electronic music producers would be doing that at this point. I'm not one of those producers, I'm afraid, so it's a bit more basic, but I have only had it for a couple of weeks. So here we go, this is going into the what is essentially the breakdown, and then there's only one section where I really have to kind of change things around, which is this section here, where I bring in the kick. It's nice and slow. And then I speed it up. Bring in the snare and the bass. full loop of the chorus. I'll freestyle the end. Let the chorus go through. And that's the track. That's what I've written. I have really enjoyed the limitations. Like I say, I can get a bit overwhelmed with a DAW, and having just 2 channels of synth and 4 channels of drums strips everything back and allows you to be creative from the ground up. Really, I've used. Can't remember exactly how much I did on this particular track, but you might have chosen a synth for the bass, but you might then actually end up programming some notes nearer the middle or nearer the high end as well to thicken the sound and make it a stronger, more finished piece. And you can definitely do full songs on this. My intention is to perhaps on some tracks play a little bit of guitar over the top, and I'm sure at some point I'll do some videos on my guitar and some further videos on the circuit, but I just wanted to do this quick video to show what I have done on my first kind of rodeo with the Novation Circuit, and share it with you, and see what your experiences are with the Novation Circuit. If you're interested in getting one, if you are not keen on the limitations. For me, the portability, not being stuck at my desk where I work for 8-9 hours a day, is key. Being able to take this down to the beach, sit in the sunroom or in the lounge and make music is completely unique to me. I've spent the last 15 years sat at a desk in front of a computer making music, and that freedom has been brilliant. The only thing to bear in mind is you do not want too much direct sunlight, because you won't be able to see the colours of things, and that is important to know what you're doing, particularly when it comes to things like gates and triggering velocity. The note colour becomes vital to know, and I'm colourblind, and I can still get that much out of it. The reason why that's the reason why it's all been in the dark. I'm going to unveil myself now. There we go. So that was my first video on the Novation Circuit. I hope it was of some interest to you, and do please subscribe for more future videos from myself, That Peak Guy. You've been the guys watching That Peak Guy. Goodbye.